Welcome back to Star Wars Abridged. I am Sacred Jedi Tex, and today we will be covering Chapter 2 of Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire. In today's chapter, we will meet Luke Skywalker, Leia, and Han Solo for the first time all in the same chapter. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So, Chapter 2 opens with a voice calling out for Luke Skywalker, who is on the sands of his home planet Tatooine. And if you'll remember from episode 1, we talked about there being a mysterious, ominous voice calling out to Luke, warning him about the dark side, and now we get to see who that is. So Luke turns to see who the voice belongs to, and it is none other than Ben Kenobi. Luke reveals that it has been a long time since they last talked, and Ben then tells Luke that he has come to say goodbye, and that they won't be talking again for a long time. Luke then realizes that this is actually a dream, and that he is still asleep in the Imperial Palace on Coruscant. His conversation with Ben, however, is not just a part of the dream. The two are actually in communication with one another and talking. Ben tells Luke that they have been separated through the Force, and the dream world is the only way for Ben to communicate with Luke. Luke tells Ben that his help is needed, but Ben assures Luke that he is strong with the Force and can deal with things on his own. Luke then thinks back to when Yoda became one with the Force on Dagobah, and Ben tells Luke that death is a natural part of life and that Luke will have to face it one day himself. Ben then reveals to Luke that the Empire may be gone, but darkness still lurks throughout the galaxy. Luke has to always be ready for the dark side's imminent return. The old Jedi Master also tells Luke that he will have to face off against other foes, but that he will also come into contact with new friends along the way. Ben then says his final goodbyes to Luke, who is not ready to part ways with his friend and mentor. Ben tells Luke that he always loved him and even thought of him as a son, and just as Ben disappears, he tells Luke that he is the first of a new age of Jedi. Luke then wakes up and reflects on all of the people he has lost throughout his life: Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru, his father Darth Vader, and now Ben Kenobi. He gets out of bed, makes himself a hot chocolate that Lando taught him how to make, and walks out to the roof of the building. As he stares off into the Coruscant skyline, he is deep in thought for a few moments about the birth of the New Republic. Then a door opens behind him. Luke instinctively reaches for his lightsaber, but is greeted by someone very close to the Jedi, his old friend C-3PO. 3PO checks in on Luke, and Luke reveals to him that he is depressed due to the difficulty of starting a new government and the fact that he just had to say goodbye to Ben. Luke then realizes that Ben wanted to teach him one last lesson, and 3PO was the one to deliver it. Even in something as big as starting a government, it all boils down to dealing with people. 3PO and Luke make small talk for a few more moments, and as 3PO turns to depart, Luke asks the droid why he came up to the roof, and 3PO reveals that Leia sent him. It is then revealed that Leia could sense Luke's distress through the Force, which she is growing to use more and more. 3PO then reveals that Leia is concerned about him, and Luke tells the droid to relay a message to Leia. Everything is just fine with him. It is then revealed that Leia has more to worry about than the Force, politics, and the start of the New Republic. She's 3 months pregnant. Luke then senses a strong presence of the dark side moving through the air of Coruscant. He reflects on the way he felt about the cave on Dagobah when he fought a vision of Darth Vader that turned out to be himself, and compared the two feelings with one another. Despite the fact that the Emperor was dead, Luke could still feel his presence around Coruscant. The evil Sith Lord had lived on the planet for a long time during the Clone Wars, and was surrounded by so much darkness that it lingered on the planet even to this day. Luke then reaches out with the Force to connect with Leia's feelings, and it is revealed that Leia is not carrying one child, but 2. Twins, just like her and Luke's mother, Padme. Luke can tell that the twins are already extremely strong in the Force, and he becomes emotional again, thinking of Ben. Struggling to come to terms with everything going on in his life, Luke's point of view ends in this chapter, and it shifts to Leia's, who is still lying in bed. Leia could feel Luke's mind connected with hers, and then felt pains in her stomach due to her pregnancy. Leia then hears footsteps coming from outside her door and attempts to turn off her bedside lamp by using the Force. She is unsuccessful, and as she is still trying, the door to her room opens when her close childhood friend Winter enters the room to check on her. It is then revealed that Winter and Leia grew up together on Alderaan, and oftentimes people would assume that Winter was actually the princess of the planet. It is also revealed that Winter has a unique gift of being able to remember and recite full conversations she has with people, which will turn out to be a useful skill later. Leia then thinks about how Winter is able to go with Leia to political meetings and essentially remember everything that is talked about so that Leia can keep track of every conversation she has with people of importance. Leia then tells Winter that she is worried about Luke, and even though Luke told 3PO that it was because of missing Ben Kenobi, she can still sense that it goes beyond that. Leia then reveals that around 9 weeks prior, the New Republic got word that someone with a brilliant military mind had taken over the Imperial fleet. That coincidentally was around the same time that she was able to sense Luke's worry. And for all of us that have read the first chapter, we know that she's talking about Grand Admiral Thrawn. Han Solo is then mentioned for the first time, and a wave of anger moves over Leia. She's upset at her husband for leaving her alone and going on missions throughout the galaxy. Leia's anger then turns to guilt as she thinks about the times that Han is present and how she is too busy to really spend any time with him. Leia then thinks about the difficulties of starting a new government, but also remembers how much training and experience she has in the world of politics. Leia and Winter talk for a few moments more, and then Winter departs, leaving Leia alone in her room. Leia tells her twins good night and then thinks of Han one more time, specifically how much she misses him. She then goes to sleep. The point of view then actually shifts a third time, and this time we are put into the mind of Han Solo, who is halfway across the galaxy in the Mos Eisley Cantina. Being in the cantina makes Han think of the first time he met Luke and Ben, but Chewbacca snaps him out of his thoughts. It is revealed that Han and Chewie are waiting for a man named Dravis, and he shows up just a few moments later. After exchanging pleasantries, Dravis sits down with Han and Chewie, and Han begins making the smuggler an offer. Han tells him that the New Republic is in need of cargo ships and experienced pilots, and that he contacted Dravis in hopes to hire him and other smugglers to do the job for him. Dravis then tells Han that he, along with a lot of other smugglers, would never work for Han because he wasn't the man he used to be. Han then tries to assure Dravis that the New Republic is in charge and that they'll pay good, but Dravis says that the rumor is that the Empire has someone new in charge that has been giving the New Republic a lot of trouble. It is revealed that seemingly the whole galaxy knows of the Aloman task force that was taken out by this mystery man in the Empire, who once again we know as Grand Admiral Thrawn, and we saw him take out that Aloman task force in Chapter 1. Han is upset at Dravis's pushback, and Dravis eventually gets up to leave, turning down Han's offer. He does tell Han that he will relay his offer to the other smugglers, and that there will likely be someone to take him up on it. Han seems halfway pleased with the way the negotiations with Dravis turned out, but before the smuggler departed, Han asked him who took over the Mos Eisley side of Tatooine after Jabba the Hutt's death. Dravis reveals that he heard a man by the name of Talon Karrde took over, which catches Han by surprise. Dravis then turns to leave for good, and then tells Han that his backup man sitting in a different part of the cantina basically isn't being discreet at all. Han once again seems decently pleased with this conversation with Dravis, and he and Chewie get up to leave as well. They walk over to that other part of the bar where Han's backup man is, and it turns out to be none other than Wedge Antilles, hero of the rebellion that fought in the Battle of Yavin and the Battle of Endor. It is then revealed that Han had another backup man in the cantina, one that Dravis didn't notice due to being so caught up in worrying about Wedge. The other man, who goes by the name of Page, didn't see anything suspicious about Dravis and tells Han that he must have actually trusted him. Han then tells the group of Chewie, Wedge, and Page that they need to get back to Coruscant, but that he wants to take a detour first. He wants to go by the Abroa Sky system on the way back to check out the mysterious missing Aloman task force and see if they can get any idea of what happened to them and who caused the attack. That wraps up Chapter 2 of Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire. Thank you for watching, and tomorrow we will be going into Chapter 3, where we will be meeting another very important character in this story. Thank you, I hope you have a great day, and as always, may the Force be with you.